Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with the whole entire Charlie Kirk funeral that's going on, I just want to go ahead and remind the American people that, you know, I genuinely believe that the death of Charlie Kirk was pretty much a major sign that the bashing, the idea of free speech is no longer something that, well, somebody out there is going to be very passionate about like the way Charlie Kirk was. I don't think many people really understand how much damage this has caused when it comes to free speech. You know, just a few months ago, if I remember correctly, Charlie Kirk was happy about the fact that the Palestinians were being pretty much completely decimated in Palestine, making fun of them. Heck, he even joked about the fact that, well, since Muslims like to throw gays off the roof, even though that's, we're not allowed to do that. But since he said, since Muslims like to do that, the fact that the whole entire land has been flattened, they can, Muslims no longer have to worry about throwing gays off the roof. Yeah. He didn't give a shit about the death of Palestinians. Now, one thing you have to understand is that Charlie Kirk is not my teacher. I'm not happy about the fact that he got unalived right in front of millions of people. I'm not happy about it, to be quite honest with you. Although I may disagree with some of his take, although I may disagree with the way he carried himself when it comes to the whole Palestinian situation. Some people are saying that he was waking up. Well, I guess we'll never know now. But that's going off topic. Have you guys noticed that, well, some people have been getting fired for some people have gotten fired for joking about Charlie Kirk's death. Now we're starting to see a crack in the free speech movement.
Ultimately, he was a Christian evangelist. And it actually reminds me of my favorite story ever. So it's about 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem, and Jesus shows up and he starts talking about the people in power, and he starts doing the worst thing that you can do, which is telling the truth about people, and they hate it, and they just go bonkers. They hate it, and they become obsessed with making him stop. This guy's got to stop talking. We've got to shut this guy up. And I can just sort of picture the scene in a lamplit room with a bunch of guys sitting around eating hummus, thinking about, what do we do about this guy telling the truth about us? We must make him stop talking. And there's always one guy with the bright idea, and I could just hear him say, I've got an idea, why don't we just kill him? That'll shut him up. That'll fix the problem. It doesn't work that way.
And I don't think that many people truly understand exactly the amount of damage it has caused, but it's getting bad. Yeah, even TV hosts are getting fired. I mean, some people say it was for other reasons. They were trying to get rid of, I think, if I'm not wrong, I think it's Jimmy Kimmel. They were trying to get rid of him. And the fact that he joked about the Charlie Kirk assassination, it gave them the reason to officially get rid of him. But either way, the fact that he got fired for cracking a joke shows you that there's now a major crack in the free speech movement. And not a lot of people seems to be talking about it. Nurses are getting fired. If you're a bastion of speech, if you're a free speech absolutist, you should be out there fighting for the right for people to criticize whoever they want. If they want to be happy about the death of somebody, again, you claim to be a free speech absolutist, you should be out there saying it's not allowed. We should let these people say whatever they want. But nobody seems to give a damn. I want to go ahead and let you guys know that the United States of America has been given to the state of Israel on a silver platter. They are free to do whatever they want in America, as long as there is a plausible deniability. Haven't you noticed that? Let me start with the JFK assassination. They're saying that the JFK assassination was done by both Mossad and CIA. when the whole thing happened, they blame it on what's his name? Larry Harvey Oswald. That was his name. They blamed it on him. And before he was able to confess, well, they took him out. Now we'll never know if he did it or not. And just like that, fast forward. How long has it been now? So it's been about 62 years now. And the file got released, and well, the state of Israel, the fingerprints all over it. And you know what's funny? Nobody came to, nobody, absolutely nobody got locked up for it. Weird, huh? USSR Liberty, your own citizen, your own troop, the people who put their lives on the line to go and die for you so you can have freedom, so you can have the freedom to say whatever you want. They got attacked. You guessed it, by the Israelis. Anybody get locked up for that? No, because the Israelis are happy. 9/11. Need I get really into that? I don't need to really get into it, but you get the whole idea. You know, the dancing people, 5 dancing on the rooftop. Later, they get caught. If I'm not wrong, I think it was either 70 or 75 days later, they get extradited back to Israel. And on national television, they said we were there to, well, record the event.
The 5 men were held for 70 days and then deported back to Israel, where they later admitted on Israeli TV that they were in New York City as Mossad agents there to document the event. The Mossad is the National Intelligence Agency of Israel.
And then later down the line, our best ally, the best prime minister in the Middle East, Benjamin Netanyahu, he said it with his own mouth. 9/11 was the best thing that could have happened to Israel. Because he knew. He knew that the Pearl Harbor that they needed, they finally got it. The Americans were so much against the Muslims that they never took a step back and actually thought to themselves, how in the world can jet fuel burn down steel beam? Not just that. How did the 3rd building go down? Building 7. That one never got hit by a plane, but yet it collapsed. Not just that. The owner of the Twin Tower took out a massive insurance right before the attack happened. If only they had taken a step back and, added all these together, they would have been like, wait a minute. The math is not mathing. But who cares now? Over 1 million innocent people died in Afghanistan, and the whole entire place has been completely destabilized. And nobody's locked up. Bush is still out there, smiling, happy, thrilled about the fact that he was the president of the United States of America. Same thing with Obama. Even Trump. Because Trump was president when the whole Afghanistan war was still happening. It's only when Biden came into office, then they said, okay, we need to start fighting now. That weapon of mass destruction that they were looking for, they never found it after 20 years. But a logical person would say, well, clearly it wasn't because of weapon of mass destruction. Rather, it's because they needed to destabilize the whole entire Middle East so that way the Israelis can be happy. Fast forward. Now we know that Epstein was pretty much blackmailing the politicians for decades. Yeah. And guess what? Nobody's in prison. Why? Because the Israelis are happy. Now you're starting to get it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter what you do as a leader in America. As long as the Israelis are happy, you will be free to do whatever the fuck you want. Haven't you noticed that? Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and look at Thomas Massey. Are they on the list of Epstein? Have they taken money from AIPAC? But yet, guess what? Our so-called leaders are trying to remove them. They have, I guess you can say, they've committed the cardinal sin when it comes to the politic here in America. What's that? You didn't take money from the Israelis, and on top of that, you were doing something that the Israelis don't like. So that means you have to be removed. Yeah. This is the state of America that we're in today. And going back to what I started off with the death of Charlie Kirk, free speech is gonna slowly and gradually die. I guess you can say the death of Charlie Kirk was like the beginning of the domino effect. Him dying, everything is now gonna start to fall in line. Slowly and gradually. You don't notice it yet because it hasn't really taken off yet. The fact that the Israelis have been pushed into a corner, other countries out there are trying to recognize the state of Palestine. The whole world is saying that these people are rogued. The UN has come out and said that they are committing. Guess what? They are desperate. They are not desperate more than ever. They are not desperate more than ever. And the only way they can continue to cleanse Palestine is to make sure you don't say shit about it. You don't say anything about it. So use the free speech that you have now, because it's only a matter of time before it gets taken away from you. It's only a matter of time before it gets taken away from you. If anybody come out and said that I celebrate the death of Charlie Kirk, guess what? You can lose your job. Even though freedom of speech, you're allowed to say that. Right? Or am I misinterpreting the freedom of speech now? Because some people are getting fired for doing that. Some people are getting fired for doing that. Whether you're left or right, it doesn't matter. This is a very crucial moment for the American people to come together and say, okay, we have a common enemy here, and we need to find out who it is. I can tell you who it is, but I'm not going to point it out. You got a brain. You can do the math for yourself. And I'm not saying, pick up a torch and a fork and a gun in modern age, pick up a gun and then go ahead and fight. I'm not calling for violence at all. There are other ways that you can make sure that either the Epstein file gets released or the money stop going into Israel. There are other ways that you can do that. Simple. Let me give you two of them. Two easy ways that you can do that as the American people in order for you to say, okay, this is what we can do. It doesn't require any violence, by the way. In fact, it is something that I have not heard anybody say it. You want to know what that is? All it takes is approximately 10 to 15% of the American population to stand up and say, hey, if you don't release the Epstein file, we're going to take our money out of the banks. Give it a shot. See what happens. And if that doesn't work, just don't go to work. It doesn't require any violence. You're in the right to do all of that. You don't have to go to work. Your boss can't come and put a gun to your head and say, go ahead and turn that wrench or else. If you go to the bank and try pulling your money out, the bank can stop you. I mean, they will, but they're not allowed to because it's your property. It's your money. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? This is how you can take back control of your country. But with the way things are going, with the way that the American people are moving, people just don't seem to care. People just don't seem to care. And the longer you don't say anything, the longer you move without giving a damn about whatever is going on, the more control they get to take. You don't realize it, but your freedom was taken away a long time ago. You just haven't noticed it, really. You think you're free? Education system suck. The healthcare system suck. Gun control is it's bad. Okay? School shooting is out of hand. Drugs are flooding the country. The roads are terrible. You can barely make, you need multiple jobs to be able to afford the basic means of living. And you guys don't seem to see anything wrong with that. Anyway, that's enough monologue. I just want to go ahead and just spew that out there for you guys so that way you understand what's really going on. But like I said, with the funeral that's going on right now is a better time than ever to really come together. Both liberals and Republicans to just come together and figure out what's going on. What is happening? Everything is going to shit, but for some reason we just seem to be able to put money out of our ass and send it to Israel. Why? Imagine how much benefit the American people would have if we just let me just say, if we just skip 1 year of giving money to the state of Israel. Just 1 year. Imagine the amount of benefit the American people will have. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little monologue. I'm gonna go do some reaction video now. I'll catch you guys.